Hello everybody, it's Bendominator, and today I'm going to be talking about whether the Cosmic Summer update is actually a good update and what it could mean for the future of this season. Before we get into the video though, if you guys enjoy the content, be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new because I make videos like this all the time, and you could also use my supported creator code Bendominator #ad if you would like to. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. So this season of Fortnite is very weird for me because while I think the actual gameplay is very fun and while I think the season is very good, it's been one of the weaker season launches for me, especially compared to a lot of the other seasons in Chapter 2. And that might be a controversial opinion. There wasn't really anything super exciting or unique that made me want to keep playing this season a whole lot. And I was really hoping for this new update to bring that thing to the game. Something super exciting, something super unique that would hook me and make me want to play more, because in Season 6 you had the bows and crafting, in Season 5 you had the brand new NPCs and bounties, and in Season 3 you had the flood. And these were all things that made me want to keep playing the game more and more. But even with those seasons, the lack of really good updates did end up hurting them in the long run. And while I'd argue that Season 3 and 5 of this chapter weren't actually too bad when it came to new content, Season 6 definitely suffered from this. Even with an amazing season launch in my opinion, the lack of major updates that actually expanded on the mechanics introduced ended up making Season 6 of Chapter 2 one of my favorite seasons to one of my least favorite seasons. So for this season, I was really hoping on this update being good. And did it deliver? Well, let's find out. The 17.10 update, or the Cosmic Summer update, which is what I'm going to be referring to it as, added two brand new features to the game. One was the parasites, and the other was abductions. Now, let's go ahead and talk about abductions first. Now, how this feature works is that there are 3 abductor UFOs around the map every single game, one of which always being at Believer Beach, which can be a bit annoying, but I digress. These abductors remind me a lot of the floating platforms from Chapter 1 Season 9, but unlike those platforms, they're actually more than just a little spot to get a bit more loot. And while they do make for great mobility while you can glide off of them, they have a pretty interesting feature if you stick around long enough to find out. So if you stay near these abductors long enough near the beginning of a match, they will end up actually abducting you like the UFOs that we saw at the end of Season 6. But instead of transporting you to a random location, they actually transport you into the mothership itself to play a minigame. And while the design inside the mothership is really cool and interesting, the minigame itself is actually just really frustrating and boring in my opinion. So the goal of the minigame is to collect as many golden orbs as you can before your time runs out. The more golden orbs you collect, the better loot you're going to end up with at the end of the minigame. You can also collect time orbs to increase the amount of time that you can stay within the mothership. You're also competing against a ton of other players that are all equipped with jetpacks, and these new futuristic weapons that launch orbs to knock back enemies rather than damaging them. Because you can't actually die in this minigame, even if you fall off you will respawn. The whole idea is that you want to get as many orbs as you can before time runs out, and you're also competing with other players. And while this is a cool concept, it ends up being super frustrating and just not very interesting. The whole minigame pretty much boils down to running around this environment, collecting orbs, only to probably get knocked off by another opponent before you can finish collecting it, and then going to another one and repeat the process. There's a little strategy and not much variation between rounds. Not to mention the low gravity controls are super weird. Not necessarily a huge negative, just something I thought I'd point out. Depending on how many orbs you collect at the end of the minigame, you will be sent to your respective chest room. There you can loot all the chests and get the loot that you need. The only problem is you barely get enough time to actually loot, and most times you'll end up missing something because you got sent out too early before you could pick up the loot that you actually wanted. So even if you get a perfect score in this minigame, there's a chance that you could end up looting the chests and just get a bunch of garbage, only for you to leave the final one and get something cool but not be able to pick it up in time. Which can be very unfortunate. I think they could easily fix this by just giving you a bit more time in the chest looting phase. Especially because you spend so much time in the minigame, why not just give a bit more time to actually get the rewards? And yes, even if you get a perfect golden score, there's a chance that you'll just end up getting golden pistols or the same of the exact weapon in every chest. So yeah, overall, do I think this is a good addition to the game? Honestly, not really. In fact, I feel like this actually hurts the game more than it helps it. I think if just one abductor spawned at a random location each match, I wouldn't mind it too much because it would be very easy to avoid. But since there are 3 abductors on the map in every match, one of which always being at Believer Beach, that's 3 locations that I often can't land at because I don't want to play the minigame. So it limits my options even more when it comes to landing certain POIs, which is very, very unfortunate. So yeah, honestly, this feature actually took away more of my enjoyment from this season than it actually added. Because on top of the fact that I don't find this minigame enjoyable in any way, it also limits my landing options because I don't want to land the places where the abductors are. But hey, maybe I'm the only person with this opinion, maybe most people actually really like the minigame, but in my personal opinion, I don't really enjoy it, so it's a negative when it comes to this update. Of course, in my personal opinion. But there's still one other major feature that this update introduced, that being parasites. So, are the parasites a super exciting feature that I really like? Well, no, not really. I don't really like the parasites either. Well, not being super common, when I do run into these things, they're not a very enjoyable experience. For one, if you do end up killing them, they don't drop anything, so it's not like you're really getting anything out of killing them. And if they end up actually grabbing onto your face, if you're in solos, they're never gonna let go. So have fun having this really annoying jump and speed boost for the rest of the match. And if you're in a team game mode, other players can actually kill it while it's on you. And if you get shot at while it's on you, it'll actually die as well. But of course, if it's an opponent shooting at you, you're gonna take a crap ton of damage anyway. So in solo game modes, I really don't like it, and in team game modes, it just doesn't really affect anything. So overall, not a huge fan of the parasites, unfortunately. And yeah, overall, I could complain a lot more about the lack of things in this update, like the lack of a new weapon or map changes, but I think that would be unfair because they did add quite a bit. It's just the stuff that they added I didn't really enjoy, and overall it makes the game a bit less fun than more fun in my opinion. And yeah, I don't really like being negative in videos, but I did want to say my honest opinions on this update, and I'm just overall not a huge fan of it. And while this doesn't completely ruin the season for me, I still think this is an enjoyable season. It doesn't necessarily add anything that keeps me hooked and makes me want to keep playing it. But hey, it seems that most other people actually are really enjoying this update and the season as a whole, so if you're enjoying it, I'm really happy for you. I'm glad you're enjoying the season, I'm glad you're enjoying the update, and if you're not, tell me why in the comment section below. I'd honestly love to hear your opinions on this update and the season as a whole. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new because I make videos like this all the time. I will see you guys in the next video, have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.